Welcome back to talking some squatching with Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. Back with Kelly, Jen, myself, Derek. We're going to go over, this is round table number 4. So thanks for coming and joining with us. We're going to go over Bear Wallow, Jen's birthday, and Yellowstone Canyon, where we picked up on the hairs and just some of the footprints and different structures, berries, food, that type of stuff that we find within these canyons. Before we get too started, we do actually want to say we hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year coming up here real soon. Give a shout out to Rev Jeff. Say Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays.
We liked your singing. We listened to all your songs.
Anybody that sees Rev Jeff's Christmas songs,
yeah, listen to them.
Yeah, you need to listen to him this Christmas and next Christmas. He's a great singer, and somehow a Squatch or a Yeti gets in every one of them.
It's true.
Also want to do a shout out to Sean Evidence. Thanks for supporting us and keeping our stuff out there along with the rest of yours. So that being said, anything else we want to say before we get going on to this whole thing?
I would like to thank Timber Giants. We're one of the people that said, hey, put out the original. Everybody wants to see the original. That was very honorable of you. We support what you're doing out there. We really like what you're doing. Thanks for putting out the original.
Keep in mind, we're about raw footage. We'll put anything out there straight out of the guns just because it's raw footage, it's untapped, it's just as it comes. So, we appreciate it when somebody else will actually do the same. So, that being said, let's get into Bear Wallow, and my understanding it's a pretty hellacious hike just to get into. So, let's go from there.
All right. Brody took us into Bear Wallow after he found out that we're interested in structures. There's a couple of structure locations that he knows of. Bear Wallow's one where he has found structures in his last 20 years of spending time in the woods in the Uintas. And just because he found structures doesn't mean anything to us. We want to, like when he took us to Yellowstone Canyon, is because he heard vocalizations and stuff was thrown at him. Bear Wallow, he heard vocalizations in there and found these structures, and so he took us in to find these structures. We found the ones that he was talking about, and we put the video out last week of Bear Wallow, 8/10/2013, and it was a wonderful day. We found 14-inch footprints, 17-inch footprints. We found a castable 14-inch footprint by a bedding spot within the structure area, and we casted that. And later on, we found some 17-inch footprints, and another one was busted through a log. And what I remember most about Bear Wallow was all the deadfall going into the structure area and stuff, and there was no way around it. All the deadfall kind of ringed around, I don't know, it was kind of a cone of a hill of a mountain. When you're in the Uintas and stuff, you call this a hill.
A hill.
But if you're anywhere else in the United States, in the lower 48, this is a mountain. And right at the bottom of it, and it's covered in all types of aspens and pine trees and stuff like that. But ringing the top of this was all this deadfall. So we're having to, and it doesn't matter where you go around the whole ring of the mountain, you're having to climb over it, under it,
It'll be depicted in the pictures. We got some pictures and stuff that we'll bust out.
It's rough getting in and out of here, but once you get up on the top, past all this, you start finding berries. We found Oregon berries, Logan grapes, Logan berries, raspberries, strawberries, all of that on top, and then 2 freshwater springs. We found a bedding location and footprints and stuff. Great place. One of the footprints is right behind us. We wished we could have casted the 17-inch footprint, but usually when we go on these excursions, we only...
Look at, there's a hair right there.
There's hair over here too, and a hair right there that sticks out of this one. After we've collected, a couple of weeks later, after we collected this large tuft of hair, we always cast stuff with the hair in it because it just pokes out and we can cut it off, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It just adds to the cast.
As it is.
But that's the one that we cast up on Bear Wallow. And we, when we go on a backpacking trip, we only bring enough casting agent. I mean, it's heavy. We only bring enough to do one good footprint. And we'll find a footprint and we'll usually walk past it and look around and see if we can find something better. But I casted that one. Jenny and Brody wanted to find a better one. We did find a better one, but it started raining really hard that day about the same time. So we'd rather have gotten the 17-inch footprint, but that's what we come away with was the
Probably ought to have
14-incher.
enough to
But
cast one per person.
I really wanted to cast that one because it was by the bedding spot. And it was 25 feet away from the bedding spot. So I felt it was really important to get that one casted. We found 3 of them by the bedding spot, and that was the only one deep enough to be castable. And because of the relation with the bedding spot, I felt it needed to be done. And then we've already found like 3 hairs sticking out of the cast. So I think it was a great cast.
Yeah.
I had quite a few of the actual cast. You got at least 2, 3 of them that you got hair on actually in the cast.
Yeah, they're sticking
Mhm.
on.
And dermal ridges on a
dermal
couple
ridges on a
too.
couple. So that's pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
Just to throw out, because I know a couple of viewers have actually said stuff, or we'll get people talking about, you know, what the significance, or, you know, are we screaming, there it is, every time we see a Bigfoot, or every time we see a structure claiming that that's what Bigfoot
If I
is?
see a Bigfoot, I'm screaming, there it is. I haven't seen a Bigfoot.
Me neither.
Just
Yeah,
what I'm saying here is, to get off on a tangent of there it is there are structures out there that, we got an image here that we're going to show you later on when we start busting out the pictures, that distinctly shows something that was naturally made and not something that... Versus somebody moving and creating a structure out in the middle of literally BFE. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere. So,
Yeah.
you know, keep in mind, we are Utah. We got a huge amount of Boy Scouts and stuff like that to go out on hiking. So every now and then I could see you'd run across something that scoutings would actually put together, but this is in no way, shape, or form.
I was a
anywhere
Boy
near
Scout. I
what
was a Boy Scout. Derek was a Boy Scout. We know what Boy Scouts make.
And it's not the stuff you come
I
across.
think that gives us an edge on, did a Boy Scout make this or not? I know the types of things I had to make when I was a Boy Scout to get my badges and stuff. And relocated stuff that would take, 5, 6, 10 stout, strong men to make with ropes and pulleys, 8 miles off trail into primitive forest, and it has no human use.
Yeah, there's tall
You start having to question why it was made.
When a human's been there.
You have to
Especially
question why
with
these
the Boy
structures
Scouts,
were
for
made.
heck's sakes. So anyway, just throwing it out there. There it is. We got evidence. So well, then thanks. That leaves your whole concentration.
No, not at all. We're talking about structures, and we found a lot of structures in Bear Wallow. We found a lot in Yellowstone Canyon, and places that we find a lot of Bigfoot activity, because we generally find structures in those places. We have found it out in Sasquatch Canyon, the main canyon, just where Rough Hollow branches off of. We found structures out there. Well, Rough Hollow we find more activity than we've ever found anywhere else. As far as footprints, vocalizations, it's the only place we've ever found handprints. And we're telling each other, if these structures are related, this place is used a lot. There's got to be these territorial structures. So we had to start leaving the main trail and looking for them. Well, once we started looking, we found 2 of them. two of the teepee style structures, one of the what we call jungle gym structures, and Derek was with us checking out some of these structures not too long ago, and he actually discovered one of the jungle gym type structures with us while we were in there. And then we also found a new teepee structure up in there with him. We didn't get a close-up look at it. We could just kind of see it about 20 feet up over a ledge.
Familiar with our videos, then you'll know it as Bear Cafe. It's right directly above Bear Cafe where you actually, where that new structure was that we've yet to actually go up there and check it out because it was just recently
We
found.
do find these structures in places with heavy Bigfoot activity, and we're talking about footprints along with vocalizations. And Bear Wallow is a place with a lot of structures. Yellowstone Canyon's a place with a lot of structures. Sasquatch Canyon and Rough Hollow. Rough Hollow, we've only found 3 structures so far, and it has the most activity. But we usually don't leave like the main game trails because we have so much data to record every time we go in there. There's so many footprints to measure, film, talk about, take pictures of, that we don't leave the main trail very often.
But we did on Bear Wallow.
We sure did.
We did. We didn't follow any trail. We didn't follow nothing. We just started walking right in straight in the middle of the woods. We went over 100 feet of deadfall, out into the middle of nowhere. Nothing. There was no path, nothing. We just headed off. And that's when we found those springs.
That sounds fun.
And right when we started hitting the territorial structure areas, that's when we started hearing vocalizations. And it seems when you, in our experience this year, when you start hitting the territorial structures areas just before, you usually hear some whoop vocalizations or some wood knocks. And I don't think those are for us. I think they're telling the pod within that, hey, someone's coming. I think someone's always on sentry.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the first thing that we came through after we went through all that deadfall was the bedding area.
Yeah, we found a couple of structures, had some vocalizations, and then we found a couple of bedding areas, and we really filmed one of the best out of the 2. And after filming that one, we then found a footprint about 25 feet away from it, and then found a couple more a little bit further on the direction it was heading. But the very first one that we found closest to the bedding spot, that's the one that we casted. And then we followed the direction that the other footprints went, and we found another spring, a second spring up on the top. We found a first spring just before finding the bedding spot, structures, and the footprints. And then the other spring, we found 17-inch long footprints going in and out of the spring, and one of them crushed through a log.
It crushed the log.
Part of a dead log, a dead rotted log, but even though it's dead and rotted, you could tell it took a lot of strength. Do you want me to bring the camera around and show them one of the still photos of the structures and the logs and stuff?
Well, let me track down. I was actually looking for the picture of where it stepped through the log.
Okay,
We actually have the image of that.
You went past it, but keep going. You're probably closer to it going the direction you're going now. That's it.
Yeah, well, there's a much better picture.
Well, there's a couple of them in a row. Okay.
We found lots of bear activity there too. Big, huge claw marks in trees.
And it really makes sense. 2 water sources up on the top, and there was like 5 different types of berries. You had the elderberries, you had the raspberries, strawberries,
And
Oregon
Logans.
grapes. Yeah, and the
And
Logans.
Logans.
And the
And they
Logans and the
actually
Oregons look almost, I mean, you can mistake either or, but when you have them both side by side, you're like, oh, that's Logan, that's Oregon. But when you see them by themselves, they look so similar that it's easy to mistake an Oregon grape for a loganberry.
I think loganberries taste good.
They both taste good.
They do.
That was it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Do you want me to bring the camera around?
Yeah, let's check that out.
All right.
Because that's pretty impressive to just
Yeah, you can see all the
distinct
toes.
taking it out.
Yeah.
So
It was heavy enough to crunch right through a log.
All right. Will you angle it this way a little bit?
yep.
More. That's probably the best photo that we have of the 17-inch footprint that we found in
You
Bear
can see
Wallow.
where the actual toes had just taken out the part of the log. You got the end of the log here, and you can just see where it just kind of tore into it. Right along there. And it comes down here, that's the hill and back up. See the edge of it coming right down there.
And being there live and seeing, and all you guys have to do is go back and about a week, maybe even not that long ago, and look up our Bear Wallow expedition video. And that video, you'll have about 10 seconds of video of that log of us measuring it that does it more justice than what we're showing right here. But this is the biggest set of footprints that we found in the Bear Wallow area. And that was one of the best out of the footprints going in and out of a spring. This is leading towards the spring, and we found footprints at the edge of the spring digging in and out of the muddy embankment portion of the spring. Mm-hmm. These springs are like ponds on the top.
Yeah.
All right, any other photos on there you want to show?
You want to whip out the the little structure that was holding up.
Yeah, show
underneath.
a couple of the structures, and that's just a different angle of the 17-incher.
Should I
show some of the food sources and the structures that we were finding?
We'll zip through a couple of these then.
Okay, yeah. There's
a teepee.
There's a major a teepee structure, and this one didn't have a host tree. All these logs were balanced out in the middle. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's a teepee.
I mean, did like 10 logs fall at the same time and in on each other and then balance perfectly? And these are large logs. All of these logs were 800 to
There's some
1,500
strawberries.
pounds.
There's just some strawberries.
Some snap-offs.
Logan.
Oh, those are actually Oregon grapes.
Oh, they're Oregons?
Mm-hmm. And some snap-offs.
That's a funky snap off. Taking it back there, just looks like it's something. I don't know.
Little shelter is what it is.
That's what it looked like. A little shelter, a little roof or something. There's your loganberries or those Oregon grapes.
Those are Oregons.
Oh, well, those are what I like.
That's Brode and
Yeah,
Jan.
they're so good.
Me and Brody.
That's an egg structure.
Yep. And you know what? Those X structures, we find them in more than that. You know, when you find just one X structure in a Bigfoot sighting area that has Bigfoot physical evidence, you think, oh, that's a coincidence. But after being to like 4 or 5 locations that have them, yeah, it seems like it's on purpose.
If you're not noticing the ground, look at the ground here and all the deadfall. And this is actually sporadic deadfall compared to some of the stuff that they walk through.
These snap-offs are like right on the top, by the way. It's like on the very top of the mountain. That's the jungle gym type structures that we talk about. It's just a mass amount of structures. A lot of people think they're nursing places where the mamas and the babies stay up there to stay away from the bears and the mountain lions. And there's an X structure from the side. You can, oh, never mind.
I wish we actually had
crosses right here.
the ground where you could actually show that it wasn't a natural fall.
No, they're not. Yeah, we didn't do that.
And that's a ramp type jungle gym structure. But look at the crook in the tree. There's a branch that curves out right here, and then that did all this deadfall just perfectly fall from different directions into this to make that. And then look in this section right here, it looks like all of this deadfall is missing bark in the same place, like someone handled it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody handled this and shoved it up in here. See where this wore on the crook? It wore off. Something was grabbing this right here and thrusting in this location. And these, you know, these are 1,000-pound logs or better. These are huge. Just all I'm saying. That's all I got to say about that is it was handled. These were thrown into place.
I mean, that shows it.
Every one of those were handled. It wasn't a coincidence.
There was
Oh, there's one.
There's one of the springs. That's the first spring. The other spring is more of a drier spring, but we could see the water under the vegetation.
There's that tree with the bear actually crawling up. Let's get to the handprint with Jen's hand next to it.
Yeah, look at the bear just clawing the heck out of this tree.
And just how thick it is, actually.
It's twice as wide as her hand.
Obviously.
Her hand's like 3.5 inches wide. So that's, you know, a 7-inch wide
Probably.
bear claw.
Yeah. And the claw's thicker than your fingers.
Yeah, look at that. Her hand is 6 inches from palm to fingertip, and that's about 1 inch longer.
Yep, because you got your little claw here. 5 claws going on there. Here's that one that I was talking about,
Now, this
where
is
you can see it's a natural. This tree
fall.
naturally fell over and is being held up by these. Why Jen's crazy enough to be standing underneath it, I don't know, but
Yeah, we really investigate to see if it's relocated stuff or if it's natural deadfall. I mean, as crazy as this formation looks, we did our investigation, and this tree right here was a natural deadfall, and it hit these ones that held it up. I mean, it was, the roots are still in place on this. What we're looking for is broken, snapped off. The roots are no longer there. There is not a place for the roots to have been. You know, that's
And
when we
obviously
start
man-made.
calling it a structure. We really take a look at these. We don't just say, "Oh, this is cool. This is a structure." No, we really look at if it's relocated. And this
There it is.
This was not relocated. This was a natural dill.
Yeah.
I mean, we put in our time around this to make sure.
okay, cool. That
All right.
was the
Are we
next
done?
image I wanted to show. So
We're done. Okay, I'm gonna set this up, and
And Bear Wallow was my birthday. That was my birthday day.
It's got rained on, sitting on the bedding side underneath the tree.
Super fun.
That's cool. So, that is.
Well,
Did you really actually like doing that for your birthday?
it was fine.
It was fine.
Yep.
Was it your decision? I mean, it's your birthday.
It was my birthday.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Out in the middle of nowhere. Underneath a...
And you guys backpacked in?
No. We, that was just a hiking day.
Ah,
Yeah. That was the day that we, hid in the Bigfoot structure from the rain. Because it rained a lot that day.
that's cool.
It was very, very rainy.
Here's a little mouse, a little shrew. So, we're going to be moving on to
Yellowstone Canyon.
Yellowstone Canyon, and this happened, what, the week after?
It was the weekend of...
The 24th.
The 24th. August 24th. Yep.
So, in August, just before school started.
Yep.
At least for those that have kids in the school.
Yes. And we decided we were going to stay overnight. Not only were we going to do our hiking for the day, we were going to backpack in and stay. Actually, we were going to stay at the structures, but we were talked
You
out of
changed
that,
your mind.
and we decided to stay just outside of the structure area.
Brody motivated us to stay outside the structure area. He dealt with what was going on 2 years before, and
Where you got chased down out of the mountain. with
The,
his girlfriend.
the Yellowstone Canyon alpha male, which we believe is the one leaving the 17-inch footprints.
He's pretty spicy.
He's the most aggressive Bigfoot we've ever had to deal with. The 19-incher in Rough Hollow, even though we think we had his eye shine from 15 feet away,
He's a teddy bear.
he's pretty meek. compared to whoever's leaving the 14 inchers, the 17 inchers in Yellowstone Canyon. He's a beast up in your face and screaming at you and stuff. I mean, he's never come close enough for us to see him. I think I may have seen him flash from tree to tree. If he's the gray...
The gray man.
The grayish haired creature that I've seen. I haven't gotten a clear enough look at it flashing between tree to tree, but the day, which was the first day, the 24th that we were up there, we were tracking 11-inch footprints. I saw something up on the hillside above us flash from tree to tree, which was grayish in color, and it doesn't fit my data bank of any animal I've hunted, deer, elk. I've never seen a gray moose, whatever, and it was larger than a coyote or a wolf that flashed from tree to tree, and it was actually, I heard the movement that made me look up while we were tracking these footprints. Well, anyway, it disappears.
It's common. Just that's all you ever get. You get a glimpse of something zipping between bushes or behind something, but you never get it real clear. Happened multiple times up Raw Follow.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I went up to it. In my experience, when you see something zip from tree to tree, it keeps going.
That's when you chased after it.
He did.
You and Brooke.
I went up to it, and there was nothing behind the tree,
No, it
nothing
didn't.
ran away, and that's when I got the creeps. I'm like, something's hiding from me.
It was hiding. It didn't keep going like a deer. It either dropped to the ground and scooted off, or I don't know how it hid, but it did.
But that's about 20 minutes before we found the hare, and the hare at first looks black. And then when you get up close to it, it looks bluish gray because it's at like half. Yeah,
It's
that's
really,
the hair that we found.
Yeah, it is a lot of gray in it.
If you want to take that up to the camera and open it up, and
Well, these guys have seen our hair.
well, this is the day that we found it. This is the second half of our round table.
And if you know anything, this is Rev Jeff's mom's. Or Sean Evidence's mom's, right?
Sean needs to delete those trolls that say stuff like that on his
Yeah.
site. The very first time this was ever seen
This is-
was on Rev
you
Jeff's
all went back
podcast,
there,
and the
hold
trolls said a bunch of stuff about this hair that should have been deleted. I don't know, maybe he has.
Sorry, Sean. Didn't mean to offend you if that's what we did there.
it's yucky.
But yeah, if you guys go back and look at Rev Jeff's podcast, which is on our website, we got a link to it, to his YouTube. It's the first time that we talked about the hair. And we found it in two tufts. These are the two different tufts. I mean, they don't link together. We put them in the same bag. And the biggest one, this one, we've taken 4 samples out of, and we've sent 3 samples out. We have 1 in waiting that will split up if people need more analysis. But it's been 4 months, and nobody knows what it is. Dr. Sykes, Dr. Meldrum still haven't been able to tell us what it is.
Ew.
And then after we found that hair, that's when we found the 15-inch set of footprints not too far from there, and we were able to cast
like
one.
12 to 15 inches long, some of them. I mean, they're really, really long.
Most of them are like 6 to 8 inches though.
Yeah, that last one I just had was about 12 inches.
But this is a 15-inch footprint. That's the only one that we've ever found. Only set of them we've ever found. Only one we've ever casted. And I don't know if the camera can see it, but there's a hair sticking up right here. My finger's behind it. We casted it in this. It's similar in size to texture to the hair that we have over there. And then right here in the cast, going right here, there's another hair. We knew they were there. We looked at them real close and we're like, that's pretty similar to what we have. We
There it is.
all decided to cast it together. Me, Brody, and Jenny were there, and we decided to cast the hair inside the print that we found with the footprint.
Why not? I like it in there.
Did you guys want me to bring the camera over
Obviously,
here?
we've got enough hair to go around. Leave them in the print.
Yeah.
Ken, this is just the hair.
This is how we found
This
it.
is how they found it.
Yeah.
There was a picture where you actually had that showed it had a big old branch.
Oh yeah, that's
hanging out of
that's
it.
the next.
That's the second.
This is the first tuft of hair we found.
The first tuft of hair, yeah, it was the smaller tuft. The big tuft was partially wrapped around a broken branch.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's what I would think that it just got caught up in something and it ripped and snapped a branch off and it was stuck hanging in like on the bottom of his arm.
It might have ripped its hair out.
It irritated it to a point that it just ripped the shit out and threw it down.
I know. All we could do is speculate, but that's how it was found. I'm just happy that it's unknown.
Yeah.
It's still unknown hair. I'd be happier if it come back unknown primate, but right now it's still unknown anything.
I
don't know. Maybe it's alien.
just like
Do
to-
aliens have hair?
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Maybe we can get a mental image off of this. Nope, don't say it.
Neither do I. All we have is the physical evidence in front of us, and we can just speculate how it was left.
Maybe the hair will speak in tongues to us.
It could have been a couple of alpha males fighting for territory.
Sorry.
It could have been an alpha male
Absolutely.
mating with,
Something else.
His old lady.
or it could have been his old lady fighting him off, saying, "No, you're not getting none."
Doing it Sasquatch style.
That's right.
I don't know.
So, do you want to show any more pictures before I throw the camera
this
back?
is cool. It's just the hair. Yeah,
Okay,
we're
it's
good.
just hair. All right. I know, it's pretty nasty hair. That hair stunk
It did.
bad when we first found it. And about 20 to 30 minutes before we found it, me and Jenny smelled that stink. That kind of skunky BO. And it wasn't too far after I saw that gray movement. And then when we found the hair and we bagged it and I smelled it for the first time in that bag, it was the same smell. Whatever we smelled 20, 30 minutes before was the same smell as that freaking nasty hair.
Kelly's Mr. Sniffy Snifferton, and he was like sniffing.
Oh yeah!
I wouldn't sniff it.
Everybody wants to know what Squatch smells like.
Yeah,
But
why not?
That way you know Squatch is around. I smell Squatch.
Something else from up this canyon that they actually deal with a lot that hasn't been brought up yet is every time they go up there, there's a new dead cow.
that's true.
You know, something.
It's the only place that we squatch that we find dead animals, and down by the parking lot where the trailhead is, and we don't follow the trail very long. We actually go off trail right away, but down by the parking lot, there's probably about a 30-acre fenced-in meadow. Just before it hits the primitive tree line and stuff, and they fence the cows in so they can't get away and all that, and it's a free range place, and it seems like every time we go up there there's a new dead cow.
And it's not just a big cow; it's a yearling.
And there's and we've inspected them, and there's not predator wounds.
No.
So is it disease? Is it bad water? Did their necks get broke? I don't know.
It's weird.
You could determine a neck break. I mean, obviously not. At some point, you're going to be able to determine a neck break without tearing into.
But the week before we found the hair on the 17th, we were because this is the meadow starts just close to as you get to the kind of the parking lot area. At the trailhead
Our last little round tape showed it pretty good.
Yeah.
The highlight video shows that actual meadow. So look at the highlight video and you'll see that meadow.
Well, we got about a half a mile from there, and we crossed the meadow and got into the tree line, and we got a few hundred yards into the tree line, maybe 100 yards, and across the meadow in the other tree line, probably half a mile from us, something screamed at us like 5 times. Within like a minute, and it was like this haunting, screechy scream, and the cattle that was out in the meadow, they all made like a mad dash to the parking lot side of the meadow. And I grew up on a farm, and I took care of my own cattle, and I worked for a farmer that lived nearby that had a bigger herd of cattle than we did, and I've never seen cattle move so fast than after these screams. Because what happened was when we started hearing the screams, Brody, Jenny, and I, being Bigfooters, we ran towards the meadow, turning on all of our equipment, trying to catch the sounds.
Yeah.
And we get to the meadow, and any of the cows in the meadow were making a mad dash away from the noise. They were freaked. And this is the same massive meadow that these free rangers bring their cattle up to and graze and stuff. I don't know how they make any money because every time I'm up there, there's a new dead cow.
It's true.
And we can't, there's no bullet wounds in them, there's no predator wounds. You know, I'm not saying their necks are snapped. I'm not saying the water's bad. I'm not saying they have a disease, but they're usually like yearlings. They're usually like 600 to 800 pound cows.
Well, I mean, you guys made a point. You know, these things are hauling butt. Something scares them, terrifies them. You get a yearling out there in the middle of a herd, and something massive comes up and scares them. Yearling might have just got trampled.
On the 24th and the 25th.
Took down and trampled. I mean, but you would probably see
A week after hearing these screams, on the 24th and the 25th, the grove of trees where we heard the screams, me and Jenny backpack camped into there and camped the weekend.
Yes, we did.
Where the screams came from, and that's the same weekend that we found the hairs that we just showed you, and we casted the footprint. I mean, it was unnerving, but that's what we do. It's scary. We went and camped where we heard the screams
Sounds fun
7
to
days
me.
later.
Not scary.
It
It was freaky.
was scary, but it was also exciting and fun. And the next day after it was all done, it was enjoyable.
We have intentions this year of backpacking in and camping at Sasquatch Highway.
Yes, we are. We're going to do that.
Yeah,
Right in the middle of it. And that's
over by the land of the giants
Land
and
of
stuff up
Giants.
Rough Hollow,
Yep. We're
Yep.
going to pitch tents and hang out
Yep.
there.
and spend a weekend.
that's also where we got this big 19-inch footprint.
Yeah.
It was right in the middle of it. So
Yep.
that's cool. There's pictures of it. It's actually a really nice place.
It is.
Looks comfy.
It's the
Just
only
outside
flat
of
place in
Mirkwood
the
or
whole
just
canyon.
right-
It's the only flat place in the whole canyon
Yeah.
that we can even put it.
That meadow and the very next meadow. The
It's
very
past
next
Mirkwood.
meadow about a
Like
couple
in the
hundred
middle of it.
yards from that.
Yeah.
You can tell that elk and deer and stuff bed down there all the time, and that's pretty flat, and the grass is pretty springy. I think we need to stay there.
Past
Just-
that? Past?
Just barely past it.
Oh, I kind of like
You know
that.
where I'm talking.
I kind of like the idea of sleeping in the middle of it.
Yeah, well, we might get more action there. unless it's not the elk and the moose and the deer that's bedding in the next meadow. Maybe that's
We just got to be prepared for bears and stuff like that.
But the
Mountain
night
lions.
after we spent in Yellowstone, I woke up and I heard
when we were big tent camping
when we were
backpacked
tent
in.
camping.
Yes.
After we found the hair, we went back, we had dinner, we slept, and the next morning, the sun hadn't come out yet. It was still kind of blue outside, kind of blue hazy. I hear a huge voice, woo! And I was like, there's no way I just heard that. No way. Because I don't know if my ears are just not attuned to it or whatever, but I don't hear a lot of the whoops and whistles and stuff that the boys hear. I just don't hear it. But I did hear this. And I sat there, I sat up in my sleeping bag, and Kelly's still sleeping, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it, and we had the parabolic mic sitting there. And I thought, oh, I've got to hurry and turn that on. And so I'm fidgeting with it, and the second one happens. Woo! And it's loud. It's just loud. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I get the thing on, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there. Yeah, it didn't happen again. But
That sucks.
I know.
Because that would have been perfect.
I know. But that's the first whoop that I personally got to hear myself. That I really knew that wasn't anything else.
And what time is this? I mean, there's middle of the
About
morning, like 3 o'clock.
5:30 in the morning.
Oh, so 5, right first
before,
thing in the morning.
Yeah, right before the sun come up. You know where it's like light blue
Yeah.
outside.
It's like the best
Well,
of the day.
that same night, about midnight and about 2 in the morning, I heard the same whoops, but they were far off. We didn't stay inside the structure area. We stayed out across this ravine or gully away from the structure area where the structures and stuff start. And a couple of times I got up during the night to relieve myself, and I heard distant whoops across the canyon or whatever you want to call it. And in the morning, Jenny told me she heard them close.
Really close.
And I slept very well all night because I didn't hear the close ones. I heard the distant ones, and I don't know, it just made me more comfortable.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And what's weird about it is, I don't know if you've ever been to Hogle Zoo, but when you first walk in, you can hear these whoops and howls like from clear down. It's because they got the howler monkeys down clear at the other end of the park, and you're up here and you can hear them, and that is what it sounded like.
That far away.
No, it was a little closer, but it was
The sound that it was making.
the sound of a howler monkey, but there's no howler monkeys in the Uintas.
No.
But that's what it sounded like.
That's good.
It was true.
But yeah, that's the weekend we got the hare.
It was fun.
Sounds like that was Yellowstone Canyon and Bear Wallow.
Yeah, Bear Wallow was the first half, and a totally different expedition, about 4 miles away, and then this Yellowstone Canyon, and so we
So I
always.
guess that's a good point. That
we often
between
wonder if-
Yellowstone Canyon and Bear Wallow, you're 4 or 5 miles apart.
Yeah, so we often wonder if it's one male using both places, and he's got 2 different female and children groups, or if it's the same pod moving around.
I would think it's the same pod moving around.
We
That's-
don't think so though, because the footprints we're finding
Are different sizes.
Are different sizes. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
this is a 14-inch. This is a 14-inch Bear Wallow. We've never
Thick,
found a
wide.
14-incher in Yellowstone Canyon. The closest thing that we found to 14 inches in Yellowstone Canyon is 15 inches, and look, it's longer
And thinner.
and thinner. And then this is a 14-incher that we found in Rough Hollow, which is about 30 miles away. And you can tell that it's just as wide as the 15-incher, not as long. It's not quite as wide as this one. They're different individuals. And then the biggest footprint that we've ever found anywhere is right here, and it's only a mile away from the 14-incher in Rough Hollow, and this is 18.5 inches.
You can look, just see the size difference between them. Thing is a huge print.
So, you know, I'm taking the pictures, taking the videos, taking the castings. We can tell in different areas. Is this the same individual? Is it close? These aren't even close. All 3 different places, 4 different individuals. We're not finding the same individuals in both places.
No.
Cool.
Nope. But both places were different. Both places were fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that was towards the end of our season that we backpacked in and tent camped, and we're planning on backpacking in and tent camping in just about every one of the hot spots that we have at least
In
once.
2014.
In 2014, so you can look forward to that. We believe that Bigfoot are more active at nighttime, and that's the best time to spot them, see them, hear them, and so we want to put ourselves right in the middle of where we think they're hanging out. And 2013 told us where they were hanging out then. Hopefully they're in the same spots. We may find out that they migrate. Maybe they use the same areas year after year. That's part of our research.
We're going to leave audio out too. We're going to record audios. So we
Yeah.
should actually get quite a bit better and quite a bit more audio footage.
We'll be coming out with more
Share.
equipment. We'll be coming out with more equipment. That's one thing that we add every year is equipment. So we're gonna have more audio, and we'll have some surprises.
Yeah.
Hope so. Anyway, sounds like that's our roundtable for this week. Appreciate you guys for coming in and sitting down watching it with us. And
Merry Christmas,
you know,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. for
Yeah,
sure.
happy
Be safe out there.
holidays. Happy Merry Christmas.
Come back for some more squatching.